Welcome to our November edition of Let's Get Growing, and it's even cooler than it was in October, but guess what? It's time for us to grow on. Now in November you're going to need to mow regularly, and that's going to be contingent on how much it grows. Remember, never remove more than 1/3 of the total leaf blade, and that way you're not exposing it areas to sun and then weeds grow. So make sure that all of that is going into the compost if you're not bagging it. If you don't bag it, then you're getting one free fertilization per year. Once again, you're going to need to water those dry areas. We get rain usually in the end of October, 1st of November, but we never know. This is Texas, so if it doesn't rain, you need to water. And remember, soak, don't sprinkle. You can also begin your major pruning at this time of year, and there are 3 rules. Number 1, dead or diseased wood. Number 2, limbs that are crossing and rubbing, because when they cross and rub, they make a wound. And last but not least, open the middle up. Now don't just wire it out like you see the electrical company do, but we want a little bit of not only air but light in the middle. Now we'll need to remove fallen leaves from the lawn weekly so that we're not getting it packed down on the grass, weighting the grass down, but we're getting as much light penetration as we can. What are we going to do? Add them to the compost pile. Mow them up, mulch your beds. There's always a use for fallen leaves. Now I want you to plant this time of year because, as I mentioned, you get a lot of root growth during the winter. And so we want to plant trees and shrubs and cool season annuals like pansies, kale, cabbage, calendula. But remember, plant them correctly. Look at the root system while you're still in the nursery before you take them home. Make sure that they have a good, viable root system. Now you'll also need to fertilize your annuals and ornamentals, and you can do that with just your plain lawn fertilizer, the 15-5-10 that I've always recommended. 3 numbers on the label. 15 is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And last but not least, we need to always remember, feed the birds. Today we're going to repot an aloe vera. Now remember, we don't usually recommend in October and November for you to repot your interior plants, but you're going to see when I pull this out that it's almost imperative that I do it. The reason I've picked the aloe vera is I want you to see how to pull them off the existing plant. Most of them are going to separate quite easily, as you can see here. But sometimes they'll come off and be attached really closely to the plant by a big, thick root system. Just break that off. That's all you have to do. And you can see where this one broke off by itself. This was actually connected to the plant deep down in the soil ball. So you would just break that manually by yourself. Any bad leaves that are coming off, go ahead and pull them off. This can be kept in the refrigerator in a Ziploc baggie, and you can use this to treat wounds, particularly burns. You don't really want to use it on an open wound like a cut, but after it's got a scab on it, you can use the aloe vera and it'll heal 3 times as fast. Burns, you need to keep rubbing it on or cut these little pointies off, and then cut this side off, and then actually tape it to your burn and leave it on there overnight. And you're going to have to put Band-Aids all over it to make it stay on because it's so slippery. But guess what? That burn will gone from that big round bubble to nothing, because it's going to take the moisture out of this and put it back into your skin. So we remove this and we're going to set it off to the side. And then don't lose our little babies. You can see there's the connection root on this one also. It's just a little bit thicker than these other roots. And you can tell by the white color and succulent, because it's very full of moisture. And there again is the attachment root and then the new roots that were coming out. So we're going to set those aside. And then also this one. Now, this is our parent plant. And so we're going to actually use the soil that came out of the old container. And put it in the new container. Now remember, you need a lip, which we call this little space that we leave between the soil line and the top of the container. And that's so that when we water it, the pot will get wet enough to maintain the plant. And now we firm the soil in. Add a little bit more. Have a little low spot here. And then I always tap it. That shakes the soil out from in between the leaves. Now I haven't crammed it down. I'm barely settling it in. Now when you water it, it'll settle even more. But see how we've left the lip on the container all the way around. Now we're going to this little baby right here, and we can see its attachment root, and then we see we have a bad leaf here. We're going to go ahead and pull it off, save it, and then we're going to take a 4-inch container, put a little bit of soil in the bottom. And then once again, see how much room I've left? One side, the other side, firm it in. Slow and easy wins the race. Once again, leaving a little lip so that when we water it, the soil will get wet enough to maintain the plant. And now we're going to take these two little babies and we're actually going to put these both in a 4-inch container because they're so small. Set them to the side. Once again, start out with the pots. Put in the soil. And then I'm going to put one on one side, thus. And then I'm going to see I move the soil away from it with my finger. Gently pick this one up. Put it in. And firm our soil around it. The main thing is we want to make sure that they're firm and not wobbly in the pot. That way they'll root. If a plant is all wobbly, it will not make new roots. Small, but will get very large.